What is up everyone, today I'll be showcasing the newest addition to the Grey League metagame, Clodsire. Very bulky poison ground type with some okay moves, Poison Sting, Mutual as fast moves, Earthquake, Sludge Bomb, Stone Edge, Water Pulse, Mega Horn, Acid Spray as charge moves. I think I got all of them, at least the relevant ones, though I feel like in Open Great League there's really only 3 options for charge moves to go with: Earthquake, Sludge Bomb and Stone Edge. Those are really which you're gonna pick from. Today I'll be running Earthquake Sludge Bomb, as I do think that fits better with my squad. I'll be combining it with Shadow Quagsire, which means I would want my Clodsire to be as strong as grass types as possible, especially a grass type like Superior. So I'm running Poison Sting and Sludge Bomb, which makes Clodsire pretty decent answer to those grass types. Of course, I always do think Earthquake is necessary to beat those steel types like Great Steel, like Alolan Sandslash, so that's why we're running Earthquake and not Stone Edge. Overall, I do think this moveset's pretty good, and I like the squad I built around it as well, with Dewgong in the middle and the Quagsire in the back. I went slightly positive with this squad and climbed up all the way to 3385 elo, so not too bad. Anyway, let's get into the battle, starting off with a Shadow Hypno lead. My opponent came prepared for the Clodsire with a Shadow Confuser user, pretty bad, so switch into my Dewgong. Generally gotta be the pivot in this line, still not too great versus Hypno, to be honest, especially if it has Thunder Punch, but it's a manageable matchup. My opponent decides to switch out right away though into Registeel. Dewgong actually doesn't do too bad here because of Durarun, so my opponent shields up the first move, gets the zap, unfortunately gets the attack drop, which means this next Durarun now will do less damage. However, it's still totally fine. I have a shield advantage now, which is great. If I can now farm up a bunch of energy with my Clodsire to fire off into their Hypno later, I might still be in a decent spot. And Registeel really can't do anything versus Clodsire, so my opponent decides to Zap Cannon first, get that attack drop, which I did, and now it's going to start firing with Focus Blast, which, as you can see, does nothing. I mean, I know it's a resisted move, but Focus Blast is still a strong move, and it just does nothing on Clodsire. Clodsire eats it up, which is just super impressive. Out comes Hypno again. I throw one Poison Sting and then switch into my Quagsire. As you can see, Shadow Quag, not super bulky. These confusions are definitely adding up. I'm going to go for the Mep Bomb here on the Hypno. Mep Bomb, a more energy efficient move than Aqua Tail, does more damage too. So that's why I opted to go for that. Wasn't expecting a shield, so I was fine throwing the higher energy move. But I did shield it. I'm comfortable, to be honest, because these confusions are already adding up. Gonna go for another Mep Bomb, and the next one should knock out. They switch out though before I can throw it into Pelipper. And honestly, if my opponent knew the moveset on my Quagsire, they would have switched to Pelipper much earlier, because my Quagsire has nothing to throw at the Pelipper. But luckily they didn't know that, so I was able to take both shields from the Hypno before they switched out to the Pelipper, and now my Clodsire might be set up to sweep. What I need to do is get the 2 Sludge Bombs, so I can fire one at the Pelipper, dock it out, and then fire another one at the Hypno. As you can see, his Weather Balls only do like 30% to Clodsire. That's just how bulky it is. I'm gonna get to my Sludge Bomb here. This should knock out the Pelipper at this range. And it does. Out comes Hypno. I'm going to throw one Poison Sting. I lose CMP anyway, so if you lose CMP, there's no point in throwing it immediately. Might as well just throw one Poison Sting, then throw my Sludge Bomb, just in case one wasn't enough. That extra Poison Sting might make the difference. And we knock out the Hypno. GG. Okay, Pelipper lead. You might think, isn't this like really bad for your line, as Pelipper absolutely walls Quagsire and does super effective versus Clodsire? That's what I thought too. Until I faced this matchup and saw how well Clodsire does here. Apparently, if you have a very good IV, very high rank Clodsire, even with Sludge Bomb, even without Stone Edge, you win the one-shield her versus Pelipper. It's absolutely insane. Look at this Weather Ball. It's not gonna knock me out there. If my opponent wants to win the one-shield, I actually have to hit a Hurricane, which is interesting. Look at that. I get to my next Sludge Bomb. I'm gonna shoot this up. I want either both shields down or get switch advantage with my Claw. Switch advantage would probably be ideal, but generally the Pelipper lead lines I've seen have been like Registeel and Metacham in the back, or Double Steel, or Steelix Metacham. And in that case, Quagsire with a shield up should be able to sweep the back line. So at this point, I'm fine letting this Hurricane go and just farming all the way down with Dewgong, and then having a shield advantage with Quagsire to hopefully be able to beat the Steel type and the Metacham I'm expecting to see in the back. farm down the Pelipper. I'm just going to throw one Juron into the incoming Registeel, put him in range where one Mudbomb will knock out, switch into my Quag, and out comes a Serperior. And that is the worst thing possible, so I'll just concede the match. GG. Alright, Water Gun Lantern. Not ideal for Clodsire to see for sure, but Clodsire still does very well here, even with Poison Sting. You know, the fast move on Clodsire really doesn't matter that much. Both Poison Sting and Mudshot are very, like, low damage moves. So even though Mudshot would help a little bit in a matchup, the difference isn't even that big. So even with Poison Sting, you're very fine in a matchup. I bring out Dewgong. Since it is a Water Gun Lantern, I'm fine bringing out my Dewgong into the Lantern to save a little bit of Clodsire's health. Out comes a Medicham. This is not great, but it's fine. I can get to 2 Icy Winds here. Unfortunately, I get the buffed, which is not great. Actually, maybe that's fine. Maybe that's good, because now they get less farm on their Medicham. And my opponent's actually gonna let some Ice Charge go through. They want the Clodsire to get as little farm as possible. Which is actually pretty good for me, because if they would have gotten to a Psychic, that would have put me in a bad spot, but instead they only get to Ice Punch, which is nice, so... Honestly, a little bit of an odd play by my opponent, but you know, we take those. I go for the Aqua Tail here on my Quagsire versus a Lantern. Just get it out as quickly as possible, as I didn't want to have to take a Surf, which they get to right now. I'm gonna shoot it up as I would take some decent damage. Out comes Alolan Sandslash now. Well, if this was a Shadow, this would have been settled already, because a Mud Bomb plus the Mud-Shots would definitely do enough to knock this thing out. But because it's a regular, this Mud Bomb is going to do less damage, and this might still get a little scary. I might have to catch a move here in the end game, because the Shadow Claws are really starting to add up, and at this rate, I'm almost going to be in range for a Drone. In fact, I think I'm already in range for a Drone. I'm expecting this to be the Drone, so I shoot it up. They need one more for the Drone now, so catch it on my Clodsire, and this just makes sure I win the game right now. I will be able to farm down. They actually undercharge there, because they want to farm down my Clodsire with Lantern, but at that point, damage has been done. My Clodsire even farms down the Alolan Sandslash with resisted Poison Stings, and they get to the Sludge Bomb to take out the Lantern. GG. Opponent, I think, closed the app, so that's why it took a while. Bye-bye. Okay, Medicham lead. This is also why I'm running Sludge Bomb, partially, because Sludge Bomb allows Clodsire to win the 2-shoot scenario here, and the 0-shoot scenario. You actually already win the 0-shoot scenario straight Earthquake, but if you're running Earthquake Stone Edge, you lose the 2-shoots, and the 1-shoots are pretty bad, to be honest. But with Sludge Bomb, you win the 2-shoot scenario, and you make this, the 1-shoots much closer. So, and as you're gonna see, Clodsire with Sludge Bomb is a pretty decent matchup here. My opponent actually shoots up the Sludge Bomb. And I'm gonna be able to get to a next before their next move. I'm gonna shoot this up, and I'm gonna throw my Sludge Bomb immediately. That would already almost knock out the Medicham. So I basically almost win a 1-shoot, but actually catch a move on the Gligar. Honestly, a bit of a mistake by me. I should always be waiting a turn there to make sure they can't catch, but I was pretty excited to run Clodsire, and I just wanted to fire off that Sludge Bomb as quick as possible, which allowed my opponent to make an easy catch there. But yeah, I really should be more patient there. Anyway, it doesn't really matter that much, I think, because I'm gonna get a very nice farm on this Gligar with my Dewgong. Out comes Medicham now. I'm gonna go for the Icy Wind straight away. My opponent actually ends up shooting, which is fine. Kind of a miscount, to be honest. I didn't think they'd be at the Ice Punch just yet. I thought they needed one more, but it doesn't matter, because Dewgong double resists the Ice Punch. I survive. I get to the Drone. They try to catch the Ice Punch, or Icy Wind, I mean, on their Steelix, but it ends up being a Drill Run. You know, Drill Run does more neutral damage, so that's why I threw it into the Medicham, and it ends up being even better, because it does super effective versus the Steelix. I didn't want to take a Breaking Swipe on my Quack, so I switched out into the Clawed, and I actually end up farming down with triple resisted Poison Stings and getting to the Sludge Bomb versus this Medicham. GG. Alright, next game, another Medicham lead. Let's see how I play it out this time. I'm pretty sure you win the 2-shoot scenario straight Sludge Bomb. So I'm going to start by throwing Sludge Bombs here, but I start to realize in the middle of this matchup that one Sludge Bomb or 2 Sludge Bombs is not going to be enough to knock out the Medicham. I need to hit an Earthquake too, so In the zeros, at least. Actually, this is a different game. In this game, they actually shield the first move, and then I go for Earthquake second, because I think in a one shield, actually in a one shield, yeah, I want to hit this Earthquake, and then I should still be able to get to another Sludge before they get to their next Ice Punch. So, this is looking pretty okay. I should be able to get to the Sludge now before the next move. They actually ended up going for Psychic. I overfarm, and again, I allow him to catch. Yeah, like my gameplay wasn't 100% on point today, but it was fine because I was still winning. And that just shows you the power of Clodsire, to be honest. I mean, I'm not gonna pretend it's some insanely sick Pokemon. It's definitely not gonna be an easy Pokemon to hit Legend with or whatever. It's not gonna be a meta breaker, but it definitely has play. It definitely has a lot of play, especially has a lot of bulk. And in this meta, bulk is pretty important. Since I threw double Psychic at my Claude, I'm pretty sure just a Power Punch, which I can easily take. So go for Drone here. Like I said before, this is more damage, and I wasn't sure if Icy Wind would do enough to knock it out the Medicham at this point. But looking at the health now, definitely would have been. I should have just gone for Icy Wind. But it's fine. I still reached the Icy Wind here. This will knock out the Medicham. And now I'm just going to hope Quagsire can take care of whatever's in the back. And it is their own Clodsire. And Quagsire is basically one of the best answers there. So we win that match. GG. Okay, Swampert lead. Really bad for Clodsire, so switch into Dewgong. Really my only good Swampert answer, so this isn't great, but I didn't want to switch in Quagsire there as energy down. That's just a terrible matchup for it, so switch into my Dewgong instead. A lot of Swampert teams I've seen don't have a great Dewgong answer, so my opponent here doesn't seem to have one either. So they switch into their Froslass after taking a shield with an Earthquake. They still have some residual energy on that Swampert too, so this is kind of scary. I go for Duran straight away, expecting them to let it go, which they did. They go for a Shadow Ball here. I almost considered shielding this, but didn't think it was worth it. They're going to get an Avalanche in one Powder Snow, and I didn't want them to get there before I throw Duran, so I'm going to throw it on the alignment. Give him a free move. Now I'm going to switch in Clodsire. This might seem a bit crazy, but at this point, I'm expecting Dewgong to be strong in the back. Maybe a Flyer, like a Mandibuzz, maybe a Gligar, and I need my Dewgong for that later. So I decided to just sack my Clodsire, as I know I won't win Switch Advantage. So no matter what, my Clodsire would be aligned to that Swampert later in the game. And if they do decide to bring in Swampert after bringing in Froslass, they can't really farm me down because I'm so bulky. And Earthquake will do a lot, but, you know, they end up having something worse for me in the back than Swampert, which is Gligar. Yeah, this is really, really bad. They're gonna get so much energy here. They already have a move loaded on Froslass too, because they overfarmed there. They have energy on that Swampert as well. And this Gligar is super loaded, so this point's looking pretty bad. But let's see what Shadow Quagsire can do here. I know I have to overfarm a lot. We're gonna let this move go, as this does less than a Shadow Ball or Avalanche would do from a Froslass, and definitely less than a Hydro Cannon or Earthquake for a Swampert. And then I have to overfarm more to be able to outpace the Swampert, so I start farming, but they already had a move with Gligar, so at this point the game is over, and I just let myself get farmed down. GG. Okay, Charm, Alolan Ninetales. This is the team I've been waiting to see. A very common line I've seen the past couple, well, months in Open Great League GBL has been Alolan Ninetales with Charm in the lead, and then Medicham and Carbink or Bastiodon in the back, and Clodsire breaks that. However, my team is not very well set up to deal with a Medicham safe switch. I kind of just have to stay in with Clodsire, because both my Quag and Dewgong don't have like very comfortable matchups here. So I stay and I take the first move, and then I switch to Quag. This could still get scary now, because my Clodsire is pretty low, but I am pretty sure that I can just bring my Dewgong into the Alolan Ninetales. Besides that, well, first off, my Shadow Quagsire still has enough health to do a lot of damage versus Ninetales. I'm gonna go for the Aqua Tail here after building up to around Stone Edge energy, and they end up shielding here, which is great. But yeah, I'm gonna do enough damage here to the point where my Dewgong should be able to deal with the Alolan Ninetales. And then, at this point, when I'm shield up, my Clodsire should be able to take care of a Carbink or a Bastiodon on the back. So I'm still feeling pretty good here. Again, I am expecting that Carbink or that Bastiodon, so I switch in Dewgong. I'm gonna just fire off the Duran here straight as I get it. The throw move and I farmed up a lot. I'm actually kind of worried it's gonna be a Dazzling Gleam. And it is my opponent running a pretty spicy moveset, I'd say. Most Alolan Ninetales would run Side Shock, but this opponent decides to run Dazzling Gleam, and it definitely works out here because it almost destroys my Dewgong. And I still thought was fine, because it would be Carbon Core Bastion in the back, but unfortunately, it ends up being a Swampert, which is the exact opposite of what I want to see. I would have probably still won this game had I brought in Clodsire first, the Alolan Ninetales later, but since I predicted it was gonna be a Carbon Core Bastion in the back, I lost the game, and that's pretty unfortunate. Actually, shield there. I shouldn't shield here. The game is over, but I wanted to see the shield kill. Let's go. They killed me through the shield, and that's always fun to see, even when it happens to you. GG there. Yeah, they definitely bamboozled me with that Swampert in the back. Honestly, maybe kind of a smart line. They're expecting people to save the Clodsire for their Carbon Core Bastion in the back, and then boom, they have Swampert, and they just, yeah, they surprise everyone. Anyway, Lickitung. Lickitung is a matchup where you really need a very high-ranked Clodsire. I'm talking like rank 10 or better. Some other Clodsire spreads in like the top 100 can do it too, but it's very iffy. If you have like a rank 10 or better, you ensure you always win the 0 shields and the 1 shields versus Lickitung. In the 1 shields, you can just go straight Sludge. In the 0 shields, you do need an Earthquake, I'm pretty sure. As you can see, Clodsire is just so super bulky. Super bulky. I get to my Sludge here. This knocks out a Licky. Take it out. One game, it's not this one. I'm not sure if it's in the video actually. One game where after the Lickitung matchup, they actually brought out Medicham to try to counter down my Clodsire, and I got to another Sludge Bomb, which was pretty great to chip it. Maybe I don't think it's in the video. I think I had to cut it out. I did like 3 sets with this team. All battles on my Twitch live stream, by the way. So if you want to see more Clodsire action, go watch that VOD. Or watch me tomorrow. I'll be live again with more Clodsire, so go watch that. But yeah, I always have to cut out some battles. And unfortunately, I don't think that one quite made the cut. Anyway, Steelix came in. I Icy Wind it first. I was expecting a no-shield somewhat, but I was fine with that. It still is a decent chunk. And it forces the Steelix to throw a bunch of energy there in the form of an Earthquake. Just try to catch a Mud Bomb up there, Gligar there it seemed. So, good that I was patient. Though, I wasn't gonna throw a Mud Bomb anyway, because I have Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail was cheaper with taking out the Steelix already, so no point in throwing that. I throw the Aerial Ace immediately, I'm gonna let go, because it's not a dig, and Aerial Ace doesn't do that much. Now I can just farm up a lot. I could have already thrown, but the thing is, if I throw immediately, I will take out the Gligar, probably, if they don't shield. And then I have so little health, I probably get Dragon Tailed down before I get to 2 Aqua Tails. So that's why I was over farming and opted to use a shield in trade for energy on my Quagsire. I felt like that was more valuable for me. So can get to the Aqua Tail there to knock out the Gligar, and now I easily get to an Aqua Tail versus Steelix without taking too much damage, and we win another game. This is not just a Clodsire showcase, this is also showcasing the power of Shadow Alolan. We see Shadow Alolan Sensors on the opposing side, so I was a bit confused. But Shadow Quagsire, the power of Shadow Quagsire, I think it's pretty strong with Aqua Tail. I'm not quite sure if that's like the moveset to go with. I think Stone Edge is still very strong as well. I'm pretty sure we're going to see that this battle where Stone Edge would have been nice. So we're just going to head into the commentary here. I led into a Powder Stone Alolan Sandslash. Actually, not that bad of a matchup for Clodsire still. I win the 1s, straight Earthquake, but the 2s is awful. So I just opt to switch into Dugong, as I don't really want the Clodsire against a 2-shielded A-Slash. They let the Duron go. Then I Icy Wind him to knock him out. Out comes Sableye now. This is pretty tough. Since they stayed in with Darlow and Sandslash versus my Dugong, I'm kind of expecting something that's also strong versus Clodsire in the back. So bring it in versus Sableye. This is really not that bad of a matchup. You know, Poison Stings are resisted, but Earthquake would do a lot, and you are a big sponge. So all these foul plays I can easily take, at least much easier than my Shadow Quack can. They also shielded Earthquake. I get to another Earthquake now. There's another turn, I should survive, get to another EQ. And I end up making this mistake. I've done multiple times this video and just throw my move. Again, I was too eager to see how much an Earthquake would do there, so I throw it immediately and they catch it into the mana bus. What an incredible catch by my opponent though. And here we see where Stone Edge would have really helped me on Quagsire. If I had Stone Edge, I would have been able to do so much damage here. But with Aqua Tail, it is unfortunately just a tad lackluster. Also, I should have shielded his first Dark Pulse. It's pretty obvious they're going to go for Dark Pulse right away. I wanted to save shield for Sableye, but I really only need to save 1 shield for it. So I should have just shielded the first move, because they're always going to go for Dark Pulse. But since I didn't shield, now they can just spam Aerial Aces, which are less energy than Dark Pulse, and, you know, take all my shields. So, not great play. but let's see if I can still wiggle my way out. That Sableye is still healthy though, so still great. They're gonna let that go. Then I throw this next one on the CMP. If they let this go, so have a chance. I should be able to get the double Mud Bomb or double Aqua Tail versus Sableye. If that's enough, I should be able to knock it out. My opponent very smartly shields that move. Knowing that shields down, I have less of a chance of knocking out their Sableye. They're gonna Dark Pulse there. Instantly switches Sableye. I hope to catch a move here, but unfortunately my opponent is very, very patient. Doesn't throw it. Farms down my Clodsire, is now able to return my Shadow Quagsire to knock me out. So definitely a few mistakes there in that game, letting my opponent catch the Earthquake on their Manabuzz, and also what else was there? Not getting a catch was pretty unfortunate, but also just a tough line. So GG my opponent there. Anyway, next game, Sableye lead. I instantly pivot out into Dugong. This is actually debatable what I should have done there. I could have also stayed in the Clodsire with against this Sableye, because it's really not that bad of a matchup, but this is fine too. I can still survive this foul play, get to another Icy Wind versus Sableye, and either get a shield advantage or switch advantage, and I get switch advantage since I actually try to catch an Icy Wind on their Alolan Sandslash. Luckily, I saw that coming though, and hit him with a Juron. That's quite a bit, but doesn't put him in farm down range for Quagsire just yet, unfortunately. I think I definitely lose CMP versus Alolan Sandslash, so that's why I didn't throw. My opponent actually ends up over farming past when I would have gotten to my move, which is pretty annoying. I could have just thrown my Aqua Tail immediately and just knocked it out. Now I'm pretty low health, which is not great. And besides that, to make it even worse, Venusaur comes out. Now, Clodsire is not that bad versus Venusaur, especially with Sludge Bomb and the 2 shields. These poison stings are gonna start adding up, and once I get to the 3rd Sludge Bomb, they will have added up enough to where it will knock out. However, there's also still a Sableye in the back, which could still be trouble. Shield the first Frenzy, they shield my Sludge Bomb. I just have to shoot everything here. This is gonna be the hardest hitting move for sure. One thing that does make me feel okay about this situation is that my Quagsire almost has a move loaded and should even be able to get to a Mud Bomb versus Venusaur later. So even if they send in the Sableye right now and have to throw a move, and then the Venusaur outpace me to the Sludge, I should be able to knock it out with Mud Bomb. I actually end up switching to Sableye here though, so I instant pivot out into my Quag, hit it with the Aqua Tail. They're only gonna get 2 Vine Whips here, which is not enough to get to a Frenzy. I can instantly Sludge from the Venusaur, and this, even though Clodsire is incredibly bulky, should be able to knock out the squishy Venusaur. GG, that got close for a second there, but luckily Clodsire was able to pull through. That was the final battle. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Good luck with your battles, trainers.